Today's ACT step is T, for tie it into your plan. Over the last few weeks, we've talked about assessing your estate planning needs, finding out which documents are missing and creating those documents. We've talked about appointing the right people for the job, and also figuring out who you want your stuff to go to. And finally, last week, we talked about making sure that you get your second crack at the apple by ensuring that your wishes and your personal values are communicated so that the people who are left to make decisions for you are able to do so well. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that people make after creating a trust-based estate plan. And that is they forget to fund the trust. They forget to take these beautiful documents that they've created and tie them to the assets that they own. In other words, they forget to tie their documents into their plan. At IS Law Firm, we like to illustrate this concept with a little red wagon. Imagine that these beautiful documents that you've created, your trust with all its detailed instructions, is represented by this little red wagon. And everything that you own, for example, your personal property, such as furniture, artifacts, jewelry, artwork, your bank accounts, maybe you have more than one, your investments, and your house. These are all things that you own and are titled in your name. Well, for a trust to work, these boxes have to make it into this wagon. And if they don't, all of this that you've created at an attorney's office is pretty much worthless. Let me show you what I mean. While you're living, all of these assets are titled in your name and you're in control. And you're holding them all pretty well. I would say you're doing a great job. You're able to decide how to use the money, who to give them to, and make decisions that make sense for you. Well, everything is going perfectly fine until one day it's not. Then what happens? Then you're left with boxes strewn over. And who is left to pick them up? That is the question. Your loved ones. So, your loved ones are picking up these boxes. And in the midst of all of this, guess what happens? Probate, confusion, family conflict, court involvement. This is where it all begins. Let's imagine another scenario where these assets, your investments, actually make it into the wagon and into the trust. So your house is in the trust. Your personal property, such as your furniture, artwork, makes it into the trust. And your bank accounts, they make it into the trust. Completely different scenario, right? Now, the wagon's not empty, it's carrying your assets, the trust is working. And even though you're not there, guess what? This wagon is gonna keep moving. It's gonna be able to do what you would have done because you have taken the time to put your assets into the trust. Whoever is in charge of your trust is going to be following those instructions. And you will have someone to take this handle because in your documents you will have already decided who will be your successor trustee and who will be in charge after you are gone. So whether you have passed away or you are incapacitated, even briefly, there is someone who's going to be able to carry out your wishes. That's no more boxes for anyone to pick up, just a handle by someone that you've already decided on. This is what we call funding, and this is what a lot of people neglect to do because it's like an extra step after you sign your documents. Let me explain it to you. For your bank accounts and investments, we put these into the box, or we put these into a trust two ways. One is that you can totally change the trust titling of the account. It's no longer owned by Amanda Lee, the individual, but it's owned by the Lee Family Trust, Amanda Lee Trustee, or Amanda Lee Trustee and her husband trustee of the Lee Family Trust. Boom, they're in the wagon. For a house, how do you fund a house into the trust? Well, that's something we do for you as you sign your trust document. We will also have prepared a deed. And again, it does the same thing. It takes the titling of the house that was in your name individually, or you and your spouse's name together jointly, and it takes that from that titling to titling it into the name of the trust. It's now owned by the Lee Family Trust or by the trustees, Amanda and her husband, trustees of the Lee Family Trust. Boom, you sign that deed and that work is already done for you. And then there's personal property, such as artwork or furniture, jewelry that you may have around. You don't have to carry all those big items and put them into a wagon. We do it somewhat fictitiously, but you get an assignment of tangible personal property, and you sign that as well when you come into our office to sign your documents. So when you sign your documents, when you sign your trust, already you're going to have your house funded and your personal property. And then there's the second part with your investment accounts and anything else. People have other assets such as rental property or businesses. And so we're going to help you with all of that. So why do we do this at IS Law Firm? Because it is so important to us that you're not just spending all this time and money creating these documents and creating or producing a beautiful binder. We want this trust to work. And it won't work if your assets are not tied into the plan. If these boxes don't make it into the wagon, we're going to help you with that. A lot of the legwork you may have to do on your own in terms of if you ever have to go into an institution, you might need to go on your own, but we will help you with the paperwork that needs to be completed. And for a lot of places, you can do it online. We'll help you with those forms. And we'll help you keep a checklist so that we know that every account and every asset that you own has actually been retitled. This is so important to us. And I want to just stress again that we just want to make sure that you are not just leaving with documents. You are leaving with a plan that's going to work for you. This is your ACT step for this week. Don't just create documents, but tie them into your plan. Make sure that these boxes make it into the wagon, because a wagon that's empty isn't going to do what you thought it was going to do. And when it is in the wagon and when everything is in place, your trust is going to help you avoid probate. It's going to preserve and carry out your wishes. And it's going to help your loved ones have a much easier time making decisions for you and handling your matters when you're not able to. This has been number 7 of my summer estate planning series. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again soon.